And the Taliban takeover is raising questions about how the U.S. was caught off guard so badly. Many are blaming an intelligence failure, but some officials tell ABC intelligence did warn of a quick Taliban takeover, but leadership didn't listen. So here with more on what happens next is Mick Mulroy, former Deputy Assistant Secretary of Defense for the Middle East. Mick, thanks for coming back on. You know, President Biden himself admits that the situation unfolded more quickly than the administration had anticipated. So how exactly did that happen?
So to first, Dan, to address the issue of the intelligence failure, before I was at the Pentagon, I was a CIA officer for a career. So I am biased, but I can tell you that the intelligence community did predict that once the U.S. withdrew forces, that the Taliban would eventually take over the country and the government of Afghanistan would fall. So it happened quicker than I think most, including the intelligence community, expected. But to call this an intelligence failure, I don't think is accurate. The situation in Afghanistan is one that is, quite frankly, very difficult for many veterans. I've talked to many veterans in the last few days to understand. It is important to point out that 66,000 Afghan soldiers died fighting the Taliban in the last 20 years. So it isn't that they won't fight. They do fight. I know that personally from fighting right next to them. I think this was a combination of the U.S. Negotiating for its exit from the country at the exclusion of the Afghan government. It is a combination of creating an Afghan military that was modeled after our own. And quite frankly, it became reliant on things like close air support and logistical support via air, which we rely on. And once that was taken away with the U.S. forces leaving, that fell. So I think there was a combination, and then, of course, the lack of leadership from the Afghan government when it really came down to it was also a critical factor. But all those taken together will be reviewed for many years to come by those who are trying to figure out how this could happen after so much effort went into the last 2 decades of training the Afghan National Army.
Now, one of the big concerns now, among the many, is that Afghanistan might now become a safe haven for terror groups, a hotbed for terror groups like al-Qaeda, like ISIS, to now grow and be able to launch perhaps attacks against the United States and other allies. So how concerned do you think we should be about that? And how do U.S. intelligence agencies now try to anticipate and get behind those threats?
So I do think we should be concerned. Our strategic objectives in going into Afghanistan in the first place was to remove the Taliban because they had hosted a terrorist organization that attacked us on September 11th. Those terrorist organizations are still in Afghanistan. You have al-Qaeda, and now you have ISIS. They have been fighting alongside the Taliban in much of their efforts to take back the country. There are jihadists, there are reports of jihadists all over the world trying to get back to Afghanistan right now. To celebrate what they would consider significant victory for their whole ideology. So I do think it's a big threat. And to your point on the intelligence collection, you're going to hear a lot of discussions on over the horizon, and we can do this from other countries, whether it be Kuwait or Qatar. Yes, we can fly planes there, but the problem is it doesn't help to have a plane overhead to drop ordnance on a target where you don't know what it is or where it is. So it does rely on human intelligence, which was through the networks we had developed on the ground for many, many years. That's all gone. We're not going to have any U.S. presence there. The Afghans that we did rely on to help us collect information are no longer in the government. Most of them are, running for their lives right now. So we are going to have a serious degradation of our ability to collect information, intelligence that we need to really even know what the threat picture is in Afghanistan, and to be able to then act on that with the military or other, efforts to actually mitigate it. But the intelligence picture itself will become much more murky now that we are essentially leaving the country completely.
All right, former Deputy Assistant Secretary of Defense for the Middle East, Mick Mulroy. We appreciate your time, Mick. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, everyone. George Stephanopoulos here. Thanks for checking out the ABC News YouTube channel. If you'd like to get more videos, show highlights, and watch live event coverage, click on the right over here to subscribe to our channel. And don't forget to download the ABC News app for breaking news alerts. Thanks for watching.